everyone. I'm your host Noopur, and I am back with another interesting interview. Today we have Mr. Santosh Parulekar with us. He's the co-founder and CEO of People Tree. It is a social organization which provides skill training and employment to rural youth and women. Hi, Mr. Santosh.
Hi, 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 Noopur.
Really excited to have you with us and going to learn a lot with you, I believe. So, Santosh, would you like to introduce yourself a little?
Yes. Uh, so Nupur, as you means some of you might be already aware. So what I studied from India, from engineering from VZTI. Then I did my post graduation, and then I was working with Citibank, and afterward I went abroad, and I spent around 12 years abroad, and I spent a lot of time in Europe and US, and then at finally in 2004 I decided to settle back in India for my personal reason. My father was not well, and that's obviously I was heading operations in India for the organizations which I was part of in US, and so I was working, but then the point is when I was working in this with this organization, I was just thinking of how can I give it back to this country. Okay, and that's when this idea of People Tree came out, and that's when I started this People Tree. So since then, since around 2007, for last 15 years, I am running this organization, which is People Tree.
Right, Santosh. So my question to you, the first question to you was, what is the motivation behind starting People Tree Foundation? And you have given a little gist of it. Do you want to add
Yes,
something else to it?
yes, sure. Means see, basically, as I said, when I came back, then I was thinking of how can I give back to this country. Okay, and that's the time when I was introduced. In those times, 2004, 5, that those times there was a new concept called as microfinancing, and I was introduced to the concept of microfinancing. I was very much interested in that idea because it was really to give credit to the poor, not unbankable people. It was giving credits, and then it was providing them the opportunity. So I started exploring that option. I got in touch with Grameen Bank and various other players to understand it. But then Mr. Mohammad Yunus and Grameen Bank, they got the Nobel Prize, and then almost everyone in India, they said that they want to get in what you call microfinancing. However, while doing the study of microfinancing, I realized when I was going to the villages that okay, microfinancing is good, but now as everyone is getting in, probably there is no need for me to get in, as there will be many commercial operations which will be coming in. However, I realized that to create livelihood, someone has to really focus on providing jobs to the youth. Okay, in the villages, I could see large number of youths who are not doing anything, and they are just spending their time not having jobs. And that's when I thought that we have to really work on providing them the jobs, because everyone thinks it's only government job to provide jobs. So we thought that we should start doing something to provide them jobs. And then while going in deep, then I realized that okay, you cannot provide them the job because everyone says they need to have skills. Because only if he knows this, then only we can recruit them. And that's when this thought of providing them the skill training came in, and that's when we started skill training. Because in 2006-7, that skill training was not big on government agenda. Eventually, as we started, then slowly the government came in, but that time it was not much from the government, and so we decided to start on our own, and that's how the organization was started.
Yeah, that's really nice to know about your journey of founding this social organization, Santosh. Santosh, there are many social causes, right, for which we can contribute in our society. Why did you
Yes.
choose to work with the rural youth? And also, one interesting thing that I want to know from you, because you have worked in the corporate world as well, what can
Yes.
we learn from them as an organization or professionals?
The first thing means the first question is why did I decide to work with the ruler youth, or rather ruler women also we work for that matter. But why did we decide to work with the ruler? Because if you see ruler, the majority of rulers are the farming community. Okay, and as you know today even more than 70 to 80% of our people are from rural areas. So the unfortunate problem, even it's true even today, that majority of these families they are dependent on agriculture income, and they have the land holdings, and majority of them do the farming, but most of them don't have large land holdings, and because of that, their income is low, and it's most of them are dependent on the rain, so which is seasonal. So unfortunately, that creates distress because you see that the farmers suicide and all. So one of the solution, and the families in the rural are large. So traditionally also the people have been doing that. Some of the people from the families they will go to the cities and they will do some gig work, gig jobs, or like construction, or even the hawkers and all the type of things. So it was not a system which was properly followed, and that's when I thought that probably there is a scope that we can create a livelihood where it is really needed in the rural areas, because in urban there are opportunities available and people can explore. But for the rulers, we have to provide them the training and then we can provide them the jobs or livelihood. That is better, and that's why I decided to focus mainly on rural youth. Now
Absolutely.
the next, yeah, your next point which I just want to cover is what can we learn from them as an organization. So when I say ruler, the most of us in the organization, in the organized organization, we go by our systems, we go by what is documented, we go by what is said. But what I have seen in rural is there are large number of informal networks, and unless you break that means get into that network, they won't trust you. Means we face lot of problems. See, last 15 years now, many people in those villages know us. Okay, means in 9 states where we are working, many people know People Tree, at least as an organization, good or bad, but they know us. Okay, even if they know have some bad experiences, they will still be having faith in you because they know that you are there for last many years. So getting into that network is very difficult, and you can't just put advertisements in newspaper or TV to get into that. It takes lot of time and lot of efforts for small organization to get into the ruler. That's what I would say.
Yeah, thanks for highlighting that. I'm sure that must be quite challenging, and you're doing a great job out there.
Yeah.
Santosh, what are the solutions for sustainable livelihood for poor youth and women? I think that's the most important thing to aim for, because we can maybe provide employment once, but how can we make sure that there is a sustainable livelihood for them?
See, when you say sustainable livelihood, there are two things. Okay, means there are two things. One is sustainable livelihood for them, and second thing is that the sustainable model for a business. Okay, so I think your question is about sustainable livelihood for poor youth and women, and for them it's if they are dependent only on agriculture, then the only sustainable livelihood for them is that we have to give the additional income to them. Now if I have a family of 10 people, and then I have only 3 acres of land or 3 acres of land, then my annual income from the land holdings will not go beyond 50-60,000 rupees. Okay, means after taking my labor out. Okay, and if suppose if my family, I consider that my family is coming free, then maximum 60 to 80,000 rupees, which is very low. And even though I might be able to earn from the rice, means I might be able to eat the rice which I have produced, but the income of the family will be very low. So what one has to do is that to create the sustainable livelihood, we have to augment it. We have to provide the additional avenue, and that's why I'm saying when the families are large, some of the boys and even girls for that matter, they can find the jobs. We can provide them that skill training, we can give them the job so that they can go work near the village in the cities, or in the youth boys they might be migrate, but they will come back, so their families will be there, they will be attached to their families, and they will be attached to the villages, and they will continue to contribute in agriculture during the season. Okay, And other is the agri-allied income, like what we do, like income from goat farming, income from, as you see, the milk production which we are doing, or income from honey. So income from various other sources because which are available locally, like poultry. So these type of things will certainly provide a sustainable livelihood for the poor youth and women. I'm talking mainly from the rural areas.
All right, all right. Santosh, I'm sure the pandemic would have been challenging for you also being in the
Yes.
social welfare sector. Can you please share your experiences and what was the impact of this coronavirus outbreak for the employment of youth in our country?
Frankly, I think all of us have read so many things in the newspaper, and I think you are aware that many of these gig workers, they had to, migrant workers, they had to go back to their village. I mean, they went back to their villages. I won't say that they had to, but they went back because they were fearful and they did not want to stay in the cities because that is where they were clear that in cities the virus will catch them. So they walked back. Many of them walked back. Everyone went back to their villages, and they did not know what to do, but they went back, and that was really the issue because that created lot of problem in the rural economy. Majority of these people, they were jobless and they just wanted food. Fortunately, government helped by providing free food, free ration, but still whatever government was doing, it was small, and then lot of help was needed. Even People Tree, we provided rations to these people. We provided them just to ensure that they are busy and they are learning something. Even during COVID time, we provide them the skill training, and so that at least their skills are enhanced during the bad times, and then their hopes are alive. So we provide them the free food during that time, during training, so that they feel motivated. And after that, we help them find the jobs locally, but eventually as the COVID subsided, then they came back to the cities. Then we help them in the migration back. So it was a very difficult time, but yes, means it, fortunately it did not create that permanent impact that no one wants to come back to cities now. That, I think, being Indians, I think we accepted things faster than what we see in China. So the people now, they are comfortable moving around even in the rural areas.
Yeah, we adapt very fast and we
Yes.
accept also. So I think that
Yeah,
played a major
yeah.
role.
And we are
Uh,
tolerant. So yes.
Santosh, I am sure you would have faced a lot of challenges, um,
Yes.
particularly being in this particular sector of
Yes.
skill training and providing employment for the poor youth and women in our country. Can you please share the three major challenges that you have faced while working in the social impact sector?
See, the first thing is when you are working in the social impact sector, the your first priority is that majority of your funds you want to spend it towards the benefit of the purpose, right? And that's when the problem comes, because first problem which comes is that as your expenses on the other activities, you cannot and do not want to spend that much on the other activities, you always find it difficult to attract the brightest of the bright, right? Means you can't afford to go to IITs, IIMs, and the best colleges and hire those because you can't afford their salaries. You don't have budget for that, right? Your administrative expenses, you have to keep it 5% or 10% maximum. So that is one challenge, because as you can't attract the best of the best, so then if you are an entrepreneur, then you have to spend more time, you have to be vigile, and even though many times the mistakes will happen, but finally you become responsible. You have to take all the responsibility. So because of that, your efforts many times they multiply. You can't just delegate your work to someone and then assume that it is done. You have to spend a lot of time. You have to be you will always be worried whether what problem will arise, because finally you will be blamed for all the mistakes and not for the success. So that is one thing which I would say in the social sector. All the people who head the social organizations, they will always have that problem, that they will be blamed for the mistakes, but unfortunately they are the one who are taking care of everything, because they can't attract the brightest of practice because of the fund issues. And that brings to the next problem is the fund issue, because the social organizations, the cash flow will always be the issue. You are not raising the funds like the private organizations are able to raise. You are not able to get the bank loans and all. And and you are always dependent on your regular cash flows, and many times those cash flows are impacted, delays will be there. So one has to be ready to face those problems. You cannot just assume that they will go one day, and you cannot even plan because you are dependent on the different cash flows, right? These are the two challenges. But the third challenge, which I would say from the social sector, is majority of the times in social sector, everyone talks about impact. Okay, and impact, because with the CSR new rule, then everyone will talk about show me the impact, do the impact analysis, and there are so many organizations which are come out with the impact analysis and all. Unfortunate problem is we are always talking about the direct impact. Means what I would be always talking about that I provided the skill training and how many students worked and how many people work for how many months and how much they earn. Unfortunately, there is huge indirect impact which we are not able to catch. Means when what I'm saying is, if I train some girl and then she worked even for a month and then she decided to leave the job, okay, or after 15 days she decides to leave the job, or even if she doesn't take a job, and I provided her the training in the healthcare training, but she got married, so she does not want to take a job, but she is married. But then there is a huge impact in her behavior. Okay, there is a huge impact how she treats her kids, how she treats her families, and how she takes care of family, which I can't capture in any of these impact studies. So many girls, I train them in the retail skill training, and then they know how to speak, they know how to present themselves. Okay, they know how to behave in the urban setup, and that goes a long way in building their personalities. I have seen the girls who were trained from MP, the way they will speak before they come out for the training and afterward they speak, there is a huge difference. They become smart. Unfortunately, if she doesn't work, for me the impact is zero. But if you ask me, there is a huge impact I have created in her life. Our organization has created huge impact, and there is no way one can capture that because unfortunately, all our impact studies, okay, and all of them are capturing the numbers because we understand the numbers well. We do not understand all these software issues well. We cannot measure the software issues, and that's why we go only by the hard numbers. And that is where the serious problem all social organizations are facing today, and they will continue to face because the donors or the people who are putting the money, they understand only numbers. They are comfortable with numbers. They are born and brought up with the numbers. Okay, and because you see majority of them are engineers or MBAs, and they are from private equity or financiers or whatever it is, so they don't understand, and they don't. And even when you look at the government also will ask for the impact, means numbers. Government also talks only about the numbers. So these software issues, unfortunately, that is the bigger challenge from the social sector as such.
I am sure these are big ones for you, and I just can hope and wish you that you overcome all these challenges in your journey. And thank you very much, Santosh, for answering these questions. With that, we move on to our next round, which is a quick rapid fire round to know you a little better as a
Sure,
person.
sure.
So, hope you're ready for it. Memorable experience with us.
See, the most memorable experience is when I went to the Saibganj. Okay, I don't know whether you are aware of the district called as Saibganj, which is on the border of Jharkhand and West Bengal. Okay, and I went there because we have been working on a project where we were constructing the houses for poor. Okay, and we have been taking the youth from the local village and we are constructing houses for the poor. And a lady who approached me, okay, she was the means as you know, Sahibganj is considered as the left-wing extremist or whatever Nakshal district, and the house which we are constructing was for a very old lady who did not have anyone. She was about 75 or 78 or 80 years old, and she was so poor that in fact means you can really make it out, and she could not understand my language because she was speaking Bengali. But when she saw I came and then my people were showing how the house was constructed, she came and then she started saying thank you to me. Okay, and that was really touching, means and means she was almost like on her tears, in her tears, and then I really felt very good about what our people are doing, and I told them that see, this is the blessing. Okay, it's not the really the money or it's not really the work, but this blessing is coming to you. Even though it's coming to me also, it's coming to you. So make sure whatever you are doing, okay, you do it with the quality because you are working for her blessings. And I would say that was really memorable experience. And obviously, I made it very clear to her that it's not we are doing anything great. We are doing our job, and we are happy that we can do that. So what I'm saying is that when you see such things, when you experience such things, then you feel good.
I'm sure it must be a great feeling for you, Santosh. Santosh, who is your favorite author?
I would tell you that I don't know whether you have read him, but have you read Scott Peck, The Road Less Traveled?
Yeah, heard
Because
of it, not read.
okay, that's a very good book. I would say even you should read it or everyone should read it. It's not about anything. He is the psychiatric, okay, and it's the old book. But the road race travel will tell you about the impacts which we have in our lives, okay, and what are how the things have impacted us from our childhood, and many of the things which you don't remember how they have impacted you, and in fact they will guide you on how you can treat your kids or even any children, and why someone behaves in that manner. So I would say that the way he has written and explained, that's what I like him most. Okay. But however, having said that, even I like Jim Collins. I have read his books of Good to Great and Built to Last and all. And I like because the research which he has done before writing the book, because books writing many people will do, but the research he has done great. Having said that, last but not least, I am my favorite author will finally be J. Krishnamurti. Okay, whose books I have read many of his books. He is the spiritual leader, or I would say rather the philosophist. But his thoughts, and he's very clear in his thought, J. Krishnamurti, and I would certainly will consider him as the great author.
Thank you for sharing that. Santosh, you're working really hard in the social impact sector. But what is your hobby? What do you like to do for your own happiness when you get some time?
I reading books. Okay, means I have been reading books whenever I get time. So I like to continue to read books on different topics. Means it need not be related to business. Any in different interest I have. In fact, it goes to spirituality. It goes to even sometimes astrology. It goes to business reading. It goes to finance reading. So whichever good book I find, I read it.
All right. And what's your favorite food? Any particular choice that you have?
I prefer khichdi. Okay, means unfortunately you might think I am mimicking our prime minister, but not that. I have been eating khichdi during evening most of my last 20 years. So I like khichdi, and because it is the very decent food you can have in the night, and you feel really satisfied. Okay, so I like khichdi. Even sometimes even if I go to the five-star hotel, I order the khichdi, which is very
Yeah,
different
it's
choice.
very comforting. It's very comforting.
Yes.
I agree.
Yes.
And the last question here to you is, what's your favorite quote? What is something that keeps you going in the hard times?
Uh, no, see, means that way there are many things which keep on, which help me keep on going because I am the optimistic person, as you see. But however, if you ask me what is the my favorite quote, I would say John Rockefeller's, okay, which you will see in my LinkedIn profile also, because that is what I believe when I am running this organization by providing them the opportunity for employment. I don't provide employment to the youth. I give them opportunities to rural youth and women. So what is this quote? So this quote says the world owes no man a living, but that it owes every man is an opportunity to make a living. So it's very clear, and you know, Rockefeller was a industrialist. Okay, he was the capitalist, so he is not really a social person. He is not a really a socialist. But what he's saying makes sense, and that's why it's see we put those branding. Okay, so life is not that simple. We put this branding that he is capitalist, he is socialist, he works for poor, he works for rich, he works for rich. But he has a point, and which is very important for all of us, and I have realized it over years. See, unfortunately, I cannot, whether it is poor or rich, for especially for poor, you cannot provide in the living. Even if you decide to provide them the living, but forget about me, anyone, okay, even government decides to provide them the living, you cannot. You can only provide an opportunity to a person, and it's true for in everything. It's not only in living; it's in everything. You can provide me an opportunity to get interviewed, and I can provide an opportunity to you to interview me. Okay, I cannot force you to interview me or vice versa. So it's same. In life, you can always provide only opportunity to people, and that's true for even people, right? You can provide them poor people also. You can provide them an opportunity to make a living. I provide them the options that okay, you have this option. If you take it, that's great. If you don't want to take it, that's fine. I can't force you. So according to me, that's why this quote is very powerful, even though it comes from a capitalist and person, but it's very powerful.
Absolutely. Thanks for sharing those things with us, Santosh. And to conclude this whole discussion, though I'm enjoying it a lot, but we have to put a stop somewhere. To conclude this, what is your advice to the professionals in order to contribute towards the growth of rural youth and women in the country?
Not that I'm saying that everyone should work towards betterment of rural youth and this. According to me, I think whatever is your passion, you should pursue your passion. It's if your passion is journalism or whatever, this thing, you should focus on that, right? So I'm not saying that everyone should do that rural youth and all. So that's not right on my part. What I would say is that whatever you want to do, okay, it could be for the betterment of rural youth, it could be betterment for society, or even it could be betterment for yourself. Okay, there are two things. One is that even if you are working on the betterment of yourself, just keep it in mind you are here because of this society, this world, and this country. And whatever way you feel that you can be kind to the people, you should be. And it could be even kind to the vegetable vendor who is bringing you the vegetable, not to negotiate with them for the rates of 1 rupee and 2 rupee and 5 rupees, which you will unnecessarily wasting your time, which you are not negotiating when you go to the malls, okay, buying. So what I would say is that just be kind to the people, especially who are serving to you, like maid servants. I'm not saying kind in the sense by being too much generous, but I am saying kind in the small, small things. Okay, in the subtle way, just be kind to them. And second thing I would say is that whatever your passion, when you are pursuing your passion, please remember it's nothing is easy. All of us face problem. Not only you will face problem, I face problem. All of us face problem in whatever we are doing. Even if we are not doing anything, we'll face problem. So don't give up. Okay, that problems are there. Even if you are sitting at home, some ailment will come to you. So please remember that problems are part of life, and don't give up. The problems will be there, and you wish all of us should learn to be happy with the problems. Okay, without problems, then we don't have life.
Thank you for sharing that, Santosh, with us. And it was an absolute delight to have you in this discussion. Learned a lot from you, and I'm quite inspired with what you're doing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Noopur. Thank you.